Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Coins Alert channel. I'm making another movie about XRP today, as I always do. Today we're going to talk about XRP. I hope everyone is having a great day no matter where they are in the world. The King Valix Chainlink CBDC pilot used the Ethereum blockchain, which is where I would like to start. Chainlink thought, let's take on XRP with an ETH blockchain that can handle 15 transactions per second. XRP can handle 1 trillion transactions per second at full capacity, and that was done with the Interledger protocol. Stephen Thomas told us that XRP will grow so that it can help everyone on Earth. That's why XRP doesn't have any rivals. With the Interledger protocol and RippleNet, Ripple is fundamentally different from most cryptocurrencies. It does not have any direct rivals in the crypto space. This is from Smoke. We'll also talk about how Ripple's Interledger protocol can connect coins to card networks like Visa below. Think about micropayments as an example of how Interledger protocol will change everything. Ripple is now turning its attention to that. David Schwartz talks about that more than once. When you get micropayments, you get paid all day, from the time you clock in until the time you leave for home. You can also pay for a single item instead of a whole newspaper this way. You can rent one movie without signing up for a service. The way for that to happen is through an Interledger system. That's what makes XRP and RippleNet so important. They are slowly getting it. Check out Bitcoin Maxis's talk about XRP. They also talk about how Ethereum isn't working. Changes in the world of Ripples. Start with Ripple's XRP ledger ecosystem. XRP and its new stablecoin RLUSD are being marketed as a modern option to Swift for sending money across borders. Everyone knows that old, slow, and expensive infrastructure based on blockchain, like Ripple's, can make payment almost instantaneous. The next thing is that it's cost-effective and clear. Ripple has been given official permission to use RLUSD in Dubai through Ripple Markets Middle East, its local branch. The Dubai Virtual Asset Regulator Authority VARA gave Ripple a license that lets it provide services linked to RLUSD and XRP in that country. When we talk about goods made for stores, Coinbase has released wrapped versions of Dogecoin and XRP. It has done this on the ground of its Ethereum Layer 2 network. And now these assets that weren't EVM suitable before can be used in decentralized finance. This probably makes them more useful and gives people more reasons to hold on to them for a longer time. And that's why, once more, Base is more of a stage for stores. The other things we talked about earlier, on the other hand, are more for organizations. Finally, Ripple CTO David Schwartz talked about why XRP has a better place in the quote on the XRPL ledger than other assets, even new tokens like the stablecoin RLUSD. XRP is built into XRPL in a way that no other cryptocurrency is. This means that transactions are cheaper, there are no third-party producers like with stablecoins, and it's easier to find the best way to make payments and move money around. So there is probably better, deeper, faster liquidity. In general, I think it's interesting that Ripple's CTO came out and talked about XRP's role in this growing environment. This last story in particular caught my attention. I think Ripple is paying attention to both the growth of the ecosystem and the role of XRP as the ecosystem's native currency. This is very different from the issues Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem have had for the past 18 to 24 months. How long is that really? Let's talk about Ether, the coin in the Ethereum ecosystem. There's no hiding the fact that ETH has been having a rough time, and it's even become the subject of jokes. For example, how much is ETH worth? Is it worth anything? Is ETH getting more valuable? And I think that the fact that the CTO of Ripple spoke out about how important XRP is to the community is a good way to make sure that XRP doesn't have the same problems as Ethereum. He's trying, but you still don't think XRP will beat ETH. A lot of people who hold ETH are becoming less interested in it. Even Bitcoin maxis are starting to understand how XRP is growing and how Ripple is spreading all over the world because they want a good return on their money. I think a lot of these Bitcoin maxis will start to move their money around. You can get a lot of money back from XRP. Hey Gary Cardone, I have no idea what's wrong with this guy. He says that XRP will do whatever it takes to stay alive, even if that means working with the cruelest people on Earth. Someone like Miss Cringe, who is shown below, will do anything to make Europe a prison region. There is martial law everywhere, and they can trick you into living in a police state. In money terms, XRP is equal to part 2. If you keep your XRP, you are voting for and on Europeans who want to start wars. This is what's happening. We will either like it or not. Central bank digital currencies are on the way, and now is a good time to make money off of it. But these folks act like Bitcoin is going to be the big thing. How the hell are 7 billion people going to use Bitcoin to buy things? 7 deals are made every second. We know that blockchain is the way of the future. Something else would have been used instead of XRP. It could be XLM or XDC. Some people think that they would use the XDC network to build out their central bank's digital currency. Take a look at the UK bank. They're getting bigger with both Quant and Ripple. These people just don't get it yet. Whether they like it or not, a new way of handling money is on the way. You could make a lot of money from it, while you still can. Eleanor Tourette said this: "Crypto legislation is getting a lot of attention on Capitol Hill. It's also a good week to be in DC and New York City, because Wall Street is high on stablecoins. The stablecoin bill seems to be something they want to pass this week. She is saying that it might happen before the end of the week. I think that will make the crypto market go crazy if it does. I believe that will be good for many of these useful cryptocurrencies, since these countries will have to move them from point A to point B as they start to use safe coins. And using a safe coin like XRP is the fastest way to move it. And a new form of the Clarity Act was added to the Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act. This is a big step toward protecting the people who work on non-custodial peer-to-peer systems while keeping a close eye on the financial institutions that hold your money. The new bill strikes a careful balance, building on FinCEN's 2019 advice to Clarity that developers and infrastructure providers shouldn't be controlled like money transmitters when they don't have control over customer funds. I agree with that. They want to regulate them that way because they want to stop new ideas from coming up. That's all. As small investors, they don't want us to be able to make money from our crypto to get that idle income. That's the reason these things are so important. That's why going to Washington to fight for certain things is so important. As long as they can finish this, it will be great for all of crypto. In a new letter from Acting Comptroller Rodney Hood, the US OCC confirms its preemption power. This means that federal banking rules can legally take precedence over state laws that are in disagreement with them. It doesn't matter if the states are against crypto, the Fed now sets the rules for the future, because there are still some states that want to be very anti-crypto. The state of Washington is one of them. I think there were a few more as well, but the states will have to follow the rules once laws are made in Washington. This is very important because of this. VCs give their thoughts on Ripple's plan. This is also from Riz. They're talking about how Ripple is going to buy Circle. Listen to this. Take a look at this IPO, okay? I believe the market value just went over 20 billion. Circle did it just now, right? I mean, the amount of money they're against is so big that not even Ripple has it. Yes, the money they got was about 100 billion for us, was likely to sell it. It needs to be sold. It's different the more they sell it, right? Now that they have those for sale, they have to sell it. It sounds like Ripple would have to sell XRP in order to buy Circle, but I don't know what will happen between Ripple and Circle. There are many people who say that Wave will still end up somewhere down the road. If you buy Circle or Ripple, they will work with Circle. Pay attention to this whole area. It's not one that rules them all. I want to make that clear. As long as Circle is pushing USDC, it will be good for Stellar XLM, and Ripple now has RLUSD, which is picking up speed, which is good for XRP. That's why I always tell people to buy a little of each of these ISO coins, relax, and don't worry about all the noise and hype. In the end, you'll be rich. The government of Paraguay says that President Santiago Peña's old account was hacked to spread a Bitcoin scam. Early this morning, I saw a lot of these Bitcoin gurus pushing this nonsense. In Paraguay, Bitcoin is now accepted as money. President Peña says that crypto-enabled citizens will have access to a $5 million Bitcoin reserve in bonds. Investors, the size of this rollout will depend on how much you put in today. After that, it says protect your Bitcoin stake now. It was also a scam. In fact, someone broke into his account. This was being pushed by Bitcoin maxis though. That's it. Bitcoin will now be accepted as money in Paraguay. Because after that, the truth typically comes out. North America is now in the marketing phase of robo-taxi service. Next up is hyperscaling. As I already said, I like to let you know what's going on in the world. The next big thing is robotics, AI and robo-taxis. In the US, there are already more than 1,500 Waymo robo-taxis on the roads. Tesla wants to start using robo-taxis for business in Austin in June. A group of Goldman experts led by Mark Delaney wrote to clients on Monday morning. The US ride-sharing business is worth